Greetings. So, sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. So, some thoughts this early day. You know, sending condolences to Mr. KS's his family. As there's word that he has passed away. And I just want to share my honest thoughts this early day. So, I wish that folks paid more attention to someone like David Goggins than KS. And just objectively speaking, he was a style and image consultant, which is on the outside, the packaging, and it's nice to look nice, and we judge each other and choose folks based on looks only. That does not necessarily skinny jeans and a purse does not equate to character, nor does it equate to health. It definitely does not equate to mental stability, emotional stability, conflict resolution. If we feel the need to beat up on each other rather than focus on ourselves. So I'm someone that has worked in the nutrition and fitness business for many years, and I've done fitness competitions and yoga and this or that. And I wanted to say this morning that, we got to watch who we're spending our time with and we're listening, that are pandering to us and telling us the things that we want to hear, right? Just like with religion, there's some universal principles that can be picked out of all of these different things. All these different religions and modalities and online gurus, they're universal principles that don't belong to anyone. And at the end of the day, how do any of these principles affect my physical health, my longevity, my mental, emotional stability, which in turn is going to feed my creativity, my zeal for life, right? And so I say that this early day as someone that is 5'2". I'm in decent shape. But though recently I noticed that my weight has, my physical weight has shifted. I can carry physical muscle, and I know I quote unquote look good. However, I can notice, and this is an ongoing experiment. Sometimes you can even get scared with your ego can get apprehensive with your own experiments. And I've been an avid self-experimenter for years. So right now, this is like maybe my second time at my heaviest physiological weight. I know there's a lot of water retention and so on. When we so focus on the appearance and the physical weight, I can distinguish exactly how the weight manifests. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Mindless eating, stress eating, and eating mindlessly in front of these screens, having conversations constantly with folks that we can rationalize it in our minds, but our egos trying to force someone's point of view to our point of view. And it's so much wasted time that we could be having a ball and having quality time spent with ourselves. There's nothing wrong with relationships. However, I've observed for the longest time that many of us as human beings perhaps need to keep our reproductive organs, so we're not raising or breeding narcissists or people that we really are not in a position to take care of. But we need to keep our reproductive organs and our genitals to ourselves, because it's a lack of care, a lack of respect, a lack of accountability and responsibility with the very important act of human intimate relations. And I'm very wary. I am so wary if somebody pandering to appetites and feel good and joy and pleasure in the absence of responsibility. Anyone, and based on what I've observed with how substance abuse and eating mindlessly has taken out a good portion of my community and loved ones, I'm wary of someone trying to get me high, drunk, or to compromise my critical thinking skills. Anyone that would have me compromise the precious organ of my brain or my immune system to get into certain habits. And I used to be a junk food junkie with a face full of acne. So I just say this to say, I have my waist beads, which are good for accountability, right? They're nice and snug. They're uncomfortably snug. And it's good to have some things in place as accountability, right? So, you know, I don't look bad. I don't look bad per se. I can say I look, but the way that I want to look and feel, it's light and it's here. It's our mindset first. It's our mindset first. So I also will say I just washed my hair. And all of this comes together as lifestyle, freedom. You know, I was just thinking I had some toenail polish on. I took the toenail polish off and it had some light clear polish or whatever. And I was just thinking, it feels so good to feel free and refreshed in my scalp and know that my scalp is not getting in the way. And sometimes it's not that I don't love to luxuriate, because I do. It's my health. My mental and emotional health comes first. And with the amount of time that we're spending on these screens, whether that's reality TV or fright and fear news and fear mongering or favorite shows back to back, we're enticed to waste a lot of precious time. And so today, this morning, I was listening to David Goggins, and I was like, it was a familiar feeling. And it reminded me of just the time over the years where I've spent time and sought out athletes and paid for coaching and physical activity and what it has given me. And I was thinking this morning, we're enticed to weakness and complacency, you know, and our prize is maybe some food, or now they have ORN-Pay, PORN, you know, to the extreme. In the absence of care, right? We're being pandered to, but if we were to step back objectively, is what's coming along with this package is a lack of care, concern, respect, and accountability for each other. And whatever labels you want to put on yourself, that can't work. We can see what kind of environment that is creating for young people and for the next generation. And it doesn't leave us any stronger. Not strong in the sense of being a mule and taking abuse, but just the pandering to a victim mentality. You know, I wish folks would look more at David Goggins, because it's something I say quite often. When you come away from an interaction, are you enticed to get into action around what you say is important? So I can say, yeah, I'm in the garden many days from 6 o'clock in the morning to 11 a.m. And I usually wake up at 4:30. So those are lifestyle habits, and I haven't been doing as much. You know, this week I didn't do as much of my strength training in the back of my mind. And I'm noticing in my thoughts the worry, the habitual worry, or the constant running to social media to check and see posts or what other people are doing. And that's where a lot of my time and my fitness has gone, right? Granted, yes, now when you travel, when you live abroad, the computer, if we're using it proactively, is a way that we can be independent and location independent, and create a different type of career path or whatever for ourselves. So it is different, and we need technology today. But the enticement and the addiction, how it plays to insecurities, is really, really something for us to take note of. It is the season for not only discernment, but to understand the human psyche, our own psyche, how it can very, very easily be manipulated and coming in so many different forms and packages that we like, that are pandering to us and trauma bonding and telling us the things we want to hear. However, if they don't strengthen us, and how does that show up tangibly? It shows up in our daily activities. Do we feel like we don't have time? If you listen to your internal dialogue, I don't have the time to eat healthy. I don't have time for a garden. I don't have time to grow flowers or investigate that. I don't have time. This is a mentality. So the hair, and you'll have to find your own sweet spot. And it's organic. It may change, whatever label you want to call yourself. Fitness, just like money, comes and goes in different levels and degrees. And I made a decision, maybe going all over the place, but hopefully you get me. I made a decision many years ago when I was doing competitions and I was working in the gym. So many women would say, oh, you look that way because you're in the gym. And I would say, no, I started out in a little small apartment. That's how I started my garden, in containers, bags, and recycled containers and buckets and on fire escape. I'm not telling you to do that. I can't say that legally. That's how I started my fitness, with a broke down aerobic step. Initially was African dance. I didn't think of it as fitness. So it's easy to give ourselves excuses and look for an out. And I don't know that feels empowering. I find it actually a haunting feeling. And it's something that David Goggins, shout out to him, he said in pushing himself physically, he realized that it was the mind and that he was leaving so much on the table. That's what's resonating this morning. He left so much on the table in terms of his human potential. That is a haunting feeling. To be laying in the bed next to somebody, knowing you need to get up, or you made a promise or commitment to yourself to get up and go work out, declutter, whatever, and you're still laying there out of a sense of obligation. That is a haunting feeling because we're going to lay down this coat called the body, to exit without having at least put a tremendous amount of time, energy, and investment into pursuing things creatively that you wanted to do. Even when it comes to your ethics and morals, we're just following very sheep-like. So I say that to say to put myself, really mostly for myself, out there in terms of accountability to myself, but also for folks to know, we look at trainers and coaches and these fitness people all made up, or when we're dieted down, which I know what that's like to be dieted down for a competition, that's not necessarily real life. And something also this gentleman said, which I experienced, it's one thing to keep looking at these channels, but a lot of the fitness and the personal integrity and the athleticism and even growing the flowers is something to be experienced. I know what it's like to have a massive library before social media and buying books and buying books and buying books, but not really getting into action, consistent action over lengthy periods of time. We don't give ourselves enough time to get the results that we want, and we bail ship. We start with enthusiasm, and in the middle and the end, we fizzle out. There's our results. We stay in relationships because a lot of times, even as women, mothers, just as folks, it's a lot easier to, and we can feel the ego, a sense of martyrdom or even control around other people's lives rather than do it for ourselves. So this gentleman said, can you do the cardio when you don't have the music on? And I just thought that was so key. Like, it's almost like we can't get quiet. There's almost an inability to get quiet and sit with ourselves. And so that's what the meditation / relaxation and breathing is. It can help you notice that I'm just not quiet. The garden can help put you into that state almost immediately. And I would say it's a shortcut. Caring for plants, getting up in the early day and hearing any kind of creatures and nature. It can catapult you into a whole nother state of awareness. Your movement practice and feeling safe. Feeling how safe but challenging, feeling how challenging it is going to give you something that's magnanimous. And I've never regretted it. But I also know that it's very easy to be enticing, to be stuck in the mind, sadness about parents, which you didn't get, failed relationships, that you can be stuck there in the movie screen of your mind. So I just wanted to send some encouragement today and say that, as a junk food junkie, I failed so many times. With that, what I kept taking on was strategy. From going to nutritional school in college to transferring over to culinary school, because I realized more so than just facts, I could educate myself. I needed to make beautiful, delicious food. And then being different types of physiques, and then allowing life and my schedule to take over. It's happening more times, not happened to me. It's been a journey. It's been a long journey. I've gotten some of my, I don't know if I want to say my first, but almost like my first injuries, and it can be really, really scary. We don't want to wake up years later and feel so scared and dejected and unmotivated, and yet your body is failing you. You may go to move one day and find that you can't because you've neglected to move for so long. So I just want to encourage you to 3 lifestyle practices that are leverage lifestyle activities. Your personal movement practice, nothing like it. It's the ultimate 401k, so that we don't have to wear makeup and stuff. You can take, if I'm not worrying about hair and all that other stuff is dripping wet right now, I'm still going to do my movement practice. I don't have to worry about that. And, hormones and being in other phases of life, sometimes just being naked and having an internal glow and enthusiasm from within, you're not even thinking about that stuff. Imagine if you didn't have the mirror. Would we even be putting all this stuff on? So I just want to encourage you, you could be the same weight or heavier weight. I'm 5'2", so I can't focus only on the weight on the scale. and I really appreciate my natural body parts. One last thing, the gentleman, there was a conversation about, this man's training and the different types of challenges he's put himself through. And actually, a part of the conversation was how he lost, I don't know if it was 100 pounds or something like that, without becoming flabby and toned. And so it was confirmation for me. It was his physical training. It wasn't just running. It was the resistance training. And again, it was so much just reconfirmation that resistance, first of all, is here. It's here. But that's where the tone is coming from. Not frantically rushing to cut things off, because you never changed this. We never changed this. We didn't undergo a change here. So the body's going to go back. You can't outrun your mindset. We'll level right back there. And so a lot of people are looking to alter body parts and not realize you may not be able to absorb protein properly, all the other side effects that come with some of the shortcuts. So I just want to encourage you today, the garden therapy and relaxation, your peaceful consumption. You get to say what that looks like for you. Focusing it around and centering, or maybe exclusively, you'll get to decide fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and fresh ground spices, whole, fresh, and living, so they have the living water intact and the integrity of the nutrients. A lot of those micronutrients, all the micronutrients, you want them in full integrity as possible, because your cells know the difference, right? Peaceful consumption, food that loves you back, your personal movement practice, and garden therapy. So I'm inviting you all to create a great day on purpose. Yeah, and love. If you're a little fluffier, love yourself to another level. And I invite you join me in the mornings, early in the morning, for Flower Fit. Excuse me, hiccup. Get some water right now. Coaching and community, Body-Culinary for personal training. And yeah, this is real life, and you can really, really get so much leverage, joy along your journey and through the process, and restoring integrity with yourself. I'm going to get on purpose, because you said so. I see you. So let's go and collard greens.